On Global News tonight, Plateau State Executive Council establishes Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Federal government commences pilot ranching program in Plateau State. Stakeholders call for collaboration across religious lines to advance national development. And on the foreign scene, UK and Europe count down to historic solar eclipse since 1999. Details in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to Global News. My name is Mercy Dala. The Plateau State Executive Council has approved the establishment of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction to strengthen government support for vulnerable citizens and align humanitarian interventions with the federal government's initiatives. Plateau State Commissioner of Information, Joyce Ranap, disclosed this shortly after the State Executive Council meeting presided over virtually by Governor Caleb Mutfang from the Government House, Rayfield in Jos. Our correspondent is still putting that report and it will come subsequently. The federal government has identified 417 grazing reserves nationwide and commenced a pilot ranching program in Plateau State as part of measures to curb farmer-herder conflicts and reduce the open movement of cattle across the country. Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, disclosed this after briefing President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja, on the ministry's interventions in farmer-herder conflicts and implementation of the national ranching policy. Maiha said the government had intensified consultations with pastoral communities, engaging about 34 organizations under the leadership of the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar III, to secure support for the transition from nomadic livestock production to ranching. He identified Benue, Plateau, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and Adamawa states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, as priority areas because of recurring farmer-herder conflicts, explaining that the Plateau pilot will serve as a proof of concept for a livestock production model aimed at reducing cattle movement and rural conflicts. Maiha attributed the growing challenges associated with nomadic livestock production to the disappearance of traditional grazing routes as a result of expanding farmlands, rapid urbanization, and increasing demand for land for infrastructure development. To support the transition, Maiha said the government was promoting commercial pasture cultivation and breed improvement to enable pastoralists to maintain fewer but more productive animals, thereby reducing pressure on land while increasing meat and milk production. He said the proposed ranching settlements will be developed as integrated economic communities with housing, veterinary clinics, schools, healthcare facilities, solar power and earth dams, while attracting milk processors, modular abattoirs, biodigesters, and other livestock-related businesses. Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Nanlong Daniel, has called on staff of the Assembly to make effective use of research to strengthen their legislative skills. The Speaker made the call while declaring open a 2-day capacity building workshop organized for staff of the Assembly. A House of Assembly correspondent has the details.
The workshop tagged Closing the Artificial Intelligence Gap for Legislative Excellence is aimed at equipping participants with the knowledge and skills required to effectively support legislative processes. Declaring the workshop open, Speaker Nanlong Daniel said the training was designed to build the capacity of staff to effectively implement the policies and programs of the 10th Assembly. He appreciated the staff for maintaining a cordial working relationship with the legislature, noting that their commitment contributes to effective representation.
And so for us to catch up with the world, we must unlearn to learn. We must begin to give space for information that will build our life itself. Because AI has come to stay. Either you follow it, or the gap between you and the world will be so wide.
Chairman, Plateau State House of Assembly Commission, Livinus Kwafan, said the workshop would equip participants with the necessary skills to respond effectively to emerging global challenges.
Everything is going digital, and we needed to really equip our staffs for the challenges so that they will also improve in their discharge of duty as staffs of the Plateau State House of Assembly.
Jackson Bature and Mercy Gokir are participants who appreciated the speaker for providing the opportunity to enhance their knowledge. It's been Simi Cholon.
Faith leaders, government officials, and civil society organizations have called for greater collaboration across religious lines to drive national transformation and human capacity development in Nigeria. These came to light at a one-day Interfaith Leadership Summit held at Isa El Buba Foundation Complex, Jos. Correspondent Simon Swadkia has the details as presented in our studio.
Organized by the Isa El Buba Foundation in collaboration with the Christian Aid, the summit brought together Christians, Muslims, civil society organizations, and government officials under one roof to discuss solutions to Nigeria's socio-economic and moral challenges. With the theme, the role of faith in national transformation and human capacity development.
If you know anything about the recent past in Plateau State, unfortunately, Plateau has been subjected to a series of violent conflicts and all of that threatens the fabric of society. So the agency was set up to rebuild peace.
Founder of the foundation, Prophet Isa El Buba, while addressing the gathering, urged Nigerians to embrace unity to achieve national transformation.
And when you change people's perspective, they behave differently. And so one of the things that we've seen is the level of ignorance. And so because of the ignorance, people are pumped with the wrong doctrines. And so that manipulates their mindset. So with what has happened here, you're going to see a lot of collaborations. And you can see that Muslims and Christians and people of other faith have sat down together to eat together. No conflict, no argument.
Executive Director of the Foundation, Deborah El Buba, commended Christian Aid for their support towards the success of the summit.
We know that in the future there will be more and more collaborations, and we want to say thank you for not being biased to just sponsoring only Christian organizations. Thank you so much for.
She called on government at all levels to partner with faith-based organizations to address poverty, insecurity, and value reorientation in the country. Speaking in interviews, some participants commended the Isa El Buba Foundation for convening the summit, describing it as timely and necessary for building bridges across divides. The event featured paper presentations by scholars from the academia and religious bodies.
The recent outbreak of the African swine fever has left many pig farmers devastated as they count their huge losses. Our correspondent visited some piggeries in Jos, the Plateau State capital, for a first-hand assessment of the unfortunate situation and also found out efforts being made to maximize the outbreak.
On arrival to some separate farms in Kwata, Dahwak, Kuru and Kuru Trade Center in Jos South local government area, the unfortunate African swine fever has left a trail of business setbacks with losses being counted in millions. Some affected farmers, Rose Mankam, Jonathan Pojok, expressed displeasure over the economic setback recorded.
I started this farm way back 2019, but I've never encountered the outbreak of swine fever, so it came like a surprise to me, watching the animals just going away, and it was very, very devastating actually.
I lost everything. Luckily, I had to slaughter to put them in deep freezers because I have an outlet where I also sell. But I deeply and profoundly sympathize with the other farmers.
Other farmers interviewed, to include Fagus Palm and Stephen Daliop, described the situation as terrible. Nelson Goshit, a pig farmer residing at Loraku along Domkadbali Road, however, says he has consistently implemented biosecurity measures on his farm, which assisted in protecting his pigs from the disease.
No, not everybody enters there. It's only my son. I don't even enter there. It's only my son. And he has some shoes that he uses to enter there. not everybody enters. Even the person who came the other time to give them injection, he had to, they had to put his shoes in.
Commenting on the outbreak, a lecturer in the Department of Veterinary Medicine, University of Jos, Dr. Essien Unanam, explained that the African swine fever is a highly contagious viral disease that affects domestic pigs and wild boar based on immune response of the animal.
The farm should be strictly only for workers, and they should not allow stray dogs, cats, and other animals. Because some of these pigs that have ASF, if they are being kept, the carcass and dogs can go and eat, and they will now come to your farm. So the transmission cycle is quite enormous.
Dr. Unanam elaborates on safety and prevention measures that could mitigate such outbreaks, considering the untold hardship being faced by pig farmers as a result of the disease outbreak. There is the need to adhere strictly to established measures to avert reoccurrence of such setbacks. In Jos, Nerot Rang.
And still ahead on Global News, correspondent on special assignment takes a look at the cost of tuber crops in Jos. Stay with us. The rising cost of food has become a major concern for many families as the prices of everyday staples continue to change. In this special report, our correspondent who visited the JMDB market, Bukuru, takes a look at the current prices of tuber and root crops and how the changes affect both buyers and sellers. The report.
In most Nigerian families, tubers and rooted crops are more than just food. They are a regular part of the daily menu. However, the cost of living continues to rise, with prices of food items, particularly tubers and rooted crops, making many families to spend more. A market survey in Bukuru Market shows that the prices of tubers and rooted crops vary depending on their type, size, and quantity. Patience Davo and Helen James speak on the prices of potatoes and cassava and the corresponding quantity consumers get for their money.
You see, Irish potatoes now, it's supposed to be cheaper, but it's a little bit expensive because of due to the sickness that entered. By now, we would have been buying bag of potatoes for 25,000 or 20,000 at least. If it is expensive, 25,000. But if it is not, you can get it 25, 20,000. But now we are buying it at 40 something, even 50 something.
It's really down and it's not that easy. We are selling it like that one. We sell it 48, 50. This one we sell 40, 42. Why this one we sell 32? Because it's small inside.
The survey reveals that a tuber of new yam currently sells for between 1,000 and 3,000 depending on its size, while a bag of cocoyam goes for about 22,000. Martina Izang and Hilda Chizoba tells us more about this.
Bags, we used to sell it. Last year we sell it 30,000, 28, but now we are selling it 23, 22.
Those ones they used to count in 100 pieces. Those ones, 100 pieces should be at the rate of 65, 150, depends on the size range.
But what is driving these prices? Traders point to several factors, including blights and dews. Carrots, however, offer some relief this season, with a bag selling between 20 to 35,000 naira against 50,000 sold last year. With improved agricultural support, better transportation networks, and efforts to reduce the cost of rooted crops and tubers will be affordable for every home. In Jos, I am Deborah John.
Rector of the Plateau State Polytechnic, Barkin-Ladi, Clement Chairman, says the institution under his leadership remains fully committed to supporting programs that add value to the Polytechnic and strengthen national security. Chairman stated this during the 17th Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics Plapoly Chapter International Hybrid Conference 2026 held at the Joshua Dare Hall, Jos campus of the Polytechnic. Correspondent Simon Swakia has the details as presented in our studio.
The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics Plateau State Chapter's Hybrid Conference had as theme Securing the Nation Through Smart Solutions, Leveraging Technology for National Security and Community Resilience in Nigeria. Rector of the institution, Clement Chirman, said the institution recognizes that security challenges confronting the nation today are complex, dynamic, and deeply rooted. Represented by the Deputy Rector, Academic Jessica Pinter, Dr. Chirman pointed out that smart solutions powered by data, innovation, and research hold the key to early warning systems, intelligence gathering, border surveillance, disaster management, and community-driven peace building.
We are expected to not merely understand problems, but to develop practical, innovative, and sustainable solutions to them.
Chairman at the conference, who is also special advisor to Governor Caleb Mutfwang on security and homeland safety, Gagji Chipi, through the Director of Research, Policy and Governance, Government House, Jos, Akim Mayat, said the Mutfwang administration has done a lot in the area of fighting security. Permanent Secretary, Cabinet and Special Services, Office of the SGS, Wycliffe Biwet, represented by the Director, Cabinet and Special Services, Office of the SGS, Nathaniel Boy, said the theme is apt considering the insecurity challenges the country is experiencing. Chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, Mahanandang, said the conference was designed to proffer solutions to improve the security situation of staff and the host communities.
Insights. My chairman said we should make the policy so that government can have it. I'm asking the organizing committee to make sure that if it is possible to have a communique after this, so that the whole world will understand and know what we are discussing and the recommendations we have made as academics, not only putting it on the archive.
The lead paper presenter at the conference, Chris Kwaja of the Modibo Adama University, Yola, who joined virtually, said the issue of insecurity should never be left in the hands of government alone. The conference featured goodwill messages from key stakeholders, including the Plateau State House of Assembly, the Government House, Jos, through the DG Research and Documentation, and heads of security agencies.
The Christian Association of Nigeria, Ganawuri District, says criminality should be attributed only to offenders and not generalized to an ethnic, religious, or pastoralist community. The association stated this in a statement signed by its chairman, Reverend Samuel Dog, while reacting to the alleged killing and cutting away of weapons of 2 security personnel attached to Tangborong community, Ganawuri. The incident, the association says, must be viewed against the backdrop of the persistent challenge of banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality that have affected communities in Ganawuri, Riom local government area, and Plateau State over the years, with the Tangbarom, Gidang Ado, Danchal, Danwal axis has particularly experienced security challenges that have disrupted livelihoods and created fear among residents. Commiserating with families, colleagues, and institutions of the deceased personnel, the Christian body called for a thorough evidence-based investigation to unravel the perpetrators, their sponsors, and collaborators in order to bring them to justice. While it says it is not seeking to preempt the investigation or exonerate anyone who may have participated in the crime, Khan emphasized the need for caution during the investigation process to avoid victimization of innocent citizens, particularly as 10 young people are said to have been arrested from the affected community. The Christian Association of Nigeria, Ganawuri District, also advocated for a strengthened intelligence gathering, community engagement, and collaboration with traditional, religious, and community leaders to enhance peace and stability within the locality. Chairman, Kokin Regional Church Council, Kwang, Reverend Stephen Gadons, has charged Christians to balance their spiritual lives and uphold the virtues of their faith. Reverend Gadon stated this during the funeral service of the late former acting Gwom Kwang, Damos Isdung, held at Kokin Local Church Council, Lokwi, Jos South Local Government Council. Correspondent Simon Swatkia has the details as presented in our studio.
Sympathizers from far and near joined the family of late former acting Gwam Kwang Moses Dung to bid him farewell. Reverend Stephen Gadongs, who took his reading from the book of Matthew, challenged Christians to end well, knowing that one day they will have to answer a call to eternity.
The choice for you to be whatever you want to be in life and in the life to come is not made, is not being, carried out by someone. You have to decide yourself. You have to make the decision of either to be a wise or a foolish person.
Widow of the deceased, Ngose Radung, described her husband as a thorough friend and support system to her and the entire family. Representatives of the church confirmed that the late Moses Dung was a committed church member who was baptized according to the Christian injunctions. The choir, women fellowship, and the bereaved family presented songs ministration. Those who testified on the life and times of the deceased include the former Minister of Youth and Sports, Damishi Sango, classmates, uncle, and the traditional ruler.
A very peaceful life, a life of someone who added value to life, to the broken-hearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
Prayers were offered for God's comfort for the family he left behind.
And on the foreign scene, millions across the UK and parts of Europe are to experience the most significant solar eclipse since 1999. More than 99% of the sun will be covered by the moon for most of the UK, while parts of Iceland and Spain will witness a rare total eclipse. One shopkeeper reports selling thousands of special eclipse glasses as excitement builds. In the UK, some will be able to view the eclipse from shortly after 1800 British Standard Time before it peaks an hour or so later. The eclipse path will start in Siberia in Russia, traveling to Alaska in the US around 7:30 local time, and then sweep round to Greenland and through Europe. Experts say watchers should not look directly at the sun without protection. And that report takes us to the recap. In the news, we told you that the Plateau State Executive Council has approved the establishment of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction to strengthen government support for vulnerable citizens and align humanitarian interventions with the federal government initiatives. Plateau State Commissioner of Information, Joyce Ramnap, disclosed this shortly after the State Executive Council meeting presided over virtually by Governor Caleb Mutfwang from the Government House in Rayfield, Jos. We also told you that the federal government has identified 417 grazing reserves nationwide and commenced a pilot ranching program in Plateau State as part of measures to curb farmer-herder conflicts and reduce the open movement of cattle across the country. Faith leaders, government officials, and civil society organizations have called for greater collaboration across religious lines to drive national transformation and human capital development in Nigeria. These came to light at a one-day Interfaith Leadership Summit held at Isa El Buba Foundation Complex in Jos. And finally, millions across the UK and parts of Europe are to experience the most significant solar eclipse since 1999. More than 90% of the sun will be covered by the moon for most of the UK, while parts of Iceland and Spain will witness a rare total eclipse. And that's it on Global News this evening. Thanks for watching. News update comes up at 10 p.m. Good evening.